Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. What do you hate about yourself? Well, that's number one of a new poll coming out right now that's about the things that you hate about yourself. Case thinks people hate their face, or Kenzie thinks that people hate their face more than ever. Mm-hmm. We just see it more than ever. You can't escape your face.
Yeah, it's a lot of face exposure.
Yeah, too much. And Case thinks it's feet because feet have risen. With the rise of OnlyFans, feet have risen as well, people looking at feet. And then maybe you're hitting that tipping point of like, I don't need feet anymore.
Feet are having a moment.
They are.
It's, some bands have a summer where they own the summer. Feet are kind of having a moment.
It's neither of those things, even though they might be correct. But it is, according to a new poll in the Chicagoland area, that people don't like their first name. Their first name, people hate it to death. I know you can change your name, but it's kind of hard. Like, whenever I've gotten fired, I've changed my name on the radio.
And it doesn't hit the same because it's like you always have to say what your old name is. Like, you can't really change your name because your family's still going to call you your old name. And then other people who knew you before will call you that. And then if you met someone, you have to explain it's a new name. You never get to abandon it.
And think about when you move and you change your address and the new mail comes or your old mail comes to your new place. It still has your old address on it. And you have to say, like, no, I don't live there anymore. Try to explain that through all the paperwork. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. They're always going to call you that.
I still get stuff. I mean, I changed my last name. Obviously, I got married at this point, over 3 years ago, because I changed it when we got legally married before, our wedding date. So, 3 years ago, I changed that, and I still get mail all the time with my maiden name on it.
Whenever
crazy.
If Megan's made a reservation somewhere and I go up and I go, yeah, Megan had it, and they go we don't see anything. How about Megan Buchanan? I go oh yeah, she's here with her side piece apparently already at the table. Yeah,
she's here with Mr. Buchanan.
Yeah. She has so many things that she will never change because it's too intertwined, tied up. Whatever, it's a rewards card or something.
So what is that, her open table account?
Yeah, something like that.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she doesn't want to change it.
Interesting.
So it makes me look like an idiot then. I don't know my wife's name. Coming up on 4 years this week. I hate it. Every time I say, can we change everything? I mean, she was like, I worked hard. I changed everything important. And I'm not changing this crap. I can't change everything.
You said things creep up on you. I got an Etsy delivery the other day, and it had my maiden name on it. And I was just like, oh, come on. I didn't even realize. I don't remember that.
It's like
something ordered from Etsy in a long time.
Came out of a black hole and landed on a time warp.
Because my husbands always have something to say about it. There's always a little comment.
Yeah.
I didn't want to change your name. You're like, mother effer, just leave me alone.
Same.
Just leave me alone.
Same. I'm like, oh, what? Are you still keeping 1 foot, one toe out the door where you can keep that name? Come on.
It's always a thing.
Yeah. Now, people will sometimes say, hey, Sludge. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I know you're Brian now. And I'm like, it's fine. You can call me Sludge. It's okay. I mean, it's hard to get rid of that name.
Can people call you Lightning Rod?
No one, except for since I told that story, and people that have listened to the show during that point that I went by Lightning Rod on the radio once in a while. People that have heard it, yes. But no one, hey, Lightning Rod.
It'd be great if at Picnic, which is next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Taste of Randolph, if people were calling you Roadkill and Lightning Rod and all your old radio names, nobody called you Brian for the entire weekend?
Listen, if you do that, I'll buy you a beer.
Oh, boy.
If anybody comes up to me and says Lightning Rod, not Sludge, because that's too easy, but Lightning Rod would be great.
What about at the White Sox game on Thursday? If somebody calls you Lightning Rod, will you buy them a beer at the White Sox game?
I
mean, you have to.
I will, because I'll be excluded in a suite. I'd probably be pretty hard to find me there. I'll run to that suite.
Jesus.
Some free beers in there. I'll take them out. It's Megan's company doing it, but... Kenzie, you like your first name? You're all good with it? Besides, you changed the name.
Not really. I've never loved my name. Because my parents told me the names that I was, almost had, and then you just always like those better.
What were some of them?
My name was supposed to be Carmen Joy. That was supposed to be my name. And I like that. It sounds like a candy bar.
It does. It also sounds like a really calm, gentle, giving, loving person. Like Carmen Joy.
And Kenzie is?
No, continue.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't gotta say it out loud. Yeah. Yeah, you know.
No. I don't.
In case you like your name?
I love my name.
You like it?
It's awesome.
You ever questioned it?
No, people
If-
What's
for
your
how-
middle name again?
For how many people that call you Chase, by the way?
or Casey or Chad.
Yeah.
My name's Case. Everybody thinks it's a fake name.
Yeah.
I get it because of the industry that I work in. My real name is Case. It's like suitcase, briefcase, or bookcase, but just without the front part.
Oh, so you've said that since grade school.
Oh, trust me, the spiel I've given. Jeremy Piven yesterday. Or what's your name? Chase? No, it's Case, like suitcase. Oh, okay.
Yeah, suitcase.
Yeah.
Suitcase. Hey, suitcase.
Sounds like somebody in The Sopranos.
I didn't move to the Bronx.
Here comes suitcase. Oh,
Hey.
When I'm walking here. Brian, do you like your name?
I was supposed to be Lisa because I was supposed to be a girl.
Yeah.
And Lisa Haddad sounds stupid, but I mean, thank God.
Wait, why does this sound stupid?
No offense to any Lisa Haddads out there, but I never liked Brian. I never did. I just didn't like
But
it.
that's your real name. Because
That's
now
my-
people are on the text line are confused. They think that Brian is also a fake name.
No, Brian Haddad, my real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't like it?
I don't like Brian necessarily. I was kind of like, I remember asking my parents, like, they have a story about all my brothers where they got the name. And I said, where'd you get Brian? They were like, you know, just it was next one on the list or whatever.
Be a girl.
Yeah, supposed to be a girl. We were so focused on Lisa.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a dude. I guess it's
See,
Brian.
but what's annoying about Brian is that he did radio and he came up with a bunch of other names and they were all bad.
No,
He had
they're
all
not.
these opportunities. Lightning Rod Lewis, you think
Listen,
it's better than Brian?
When I was on a metal show doing that, I would go like lightning rod. Like that. But that's
But,
thunder.
like,
I understand it's
Lewis
thunder.
was your follow-up?
Because I went by Brian Lewis because my dad didn't want me to use my real name on the radio so people find our house. And somehow I came up with Lewis. And then, yeah, that's how we got there.
Yeah. And then Roadkill.
That was also, okay. That was my college radio name.
We
You're
all had
like,
a
Brian's
phase.
horrible. I'll go by Roadkill.
That's
you have
right.
no right.
I think a lot of people would like Roadkill. Got me here today. Roadkill, Lightning Rod, Brian Lewis, Sludge, Brian Haddad.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Is there a male name that you would have liked? I picture you wanting to be named like Axel or something.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't think Axel, but Frank.
Frank?
Yeah.
What about Maximilian? Doesn't that seem like a name
This
that you
is
would
what
have?
I mean. You want to replace Brian with Frank? Like, that's where it's been. What are you talking about?
That's right. Hey, Frank. Like, no.
Frank is your dream name?
Yeah, Frank could be good. Are there any Franks out there?
We've got a ton of Franks.
I want
What
to
do
know
you
if
mean,
there's
are there any Franks? This can't be real.
I mean, if there's a real, if a Frank is listening right now, is Frank been what's aged out? I mean, all the Franks have died and there's no
One
new
of my
Franks.
husband's best friends is named Frank.
Is that right?
I went to high school with a Frank.
Okay.
That sounds fake. But I swear to God, I did.
It's almost like I went to high school with a black guy. I like black guys. Yeah.
I know one.
If there's a Frank out there, check in. We want to hear from you. To know there's Frank is still a name that exists. Besides Kenzie's husband, friend. That's what we already outed one. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. The fact that made your brain go. That most people in a new poll hate their first name. They hate their first name in the Chicagoland area. And I somehow I wanted my name to be, I'd like it Frank. Frank would be a great name. Brian's fine. My parents had no ties to Brian. There was no, great-great-great-grandfather Brian that got us here. But a lot of people checked in. I thought Frank might have been dead. Now, Kenzie said that her husband has a friend named Frank, so we excluded him if there's any other Franks out there. Seems to be a lot. 815 checked in. I had two Franks get into a fist fight at my wedding.
See?
I need to hear that story.
Double Frank.
Please.
Was it over the name Frank? No, I'm the Frank at this wedding. No, I'm the Frank. He's my best friend.
920 texted in. My father's name is Frank, but he was born Francis. But do not call him that. Okay.
Gotcha. 847 checked in. My last name is Frank, and I, all caps, hate it. So what's his name, like Billy Frank or something?
It could be.
Yeah, I need your first name to see if it matches. Because it might have a nice ring to it.
That's interesting. I've never seen somebody with the last name Frank.
Yeah.
Could you imagine, to be Frank, and you're like, I am.
Yeah.
I got it.
Hey, what do you want me to do?
Already there.
815 checked in and said, I was named Rommel, and I wish I had a different one.
Oh.
Rommel sounds like a pretty... wait, that's a historical bad name, I think.
Why?
Rommel. I think it might be a Nazi name.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Oh my God.
I might
How
be
do you
wrong.
know?
I might be wrong.
What a crazy accusation to throw if you're not sure. Oh, no, Erwin Rommel, German general, died in 44.
How do you just know all the Nazis? There was a lot of them.
I watched the History Channel.
I mean, there's probably a Nazi named Frank.
The History Channel just shows Pawn Stars. You didn't learn that from the History Channel.
How did you just know that?
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We had Jeremy Piven in the studio around this time yesterday. Case is the video version of that interview dropping soon?
10 a.m. today, Q101 Chicago's YouTube channel. You'll see the full video interview with ourselves and Jeremy Piven yesterday. Great stuff there.
Make sure you check it out on our socials and Q101.com. And, of course, we'll have some more audio from that as well. But first, some major food news going on in Chicagoland. And let's start with one of the biggest lawsuits in the city's history. And it starts with the people that make Oreos. I must have been blind on this one. I was today years old when I found out that Oreos were made here in Chicago. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Kenzie, you know that?
No.
So Chicago-based snack food maker, they're called Mondelez International, and they make Oreos, Chips Ahoy, Wheat Thins, which are good to the salty part after you eat all that sweet stuff, and then the Oreos, of course, too. So
I didn't realize that was all the same company.
yeah, they acquired them all. But there's some bad news here for Aldi. People that love Aldi, they're suing Aldi because the packaging for Aldi store-branded cookies and crackers, they, quote, blatantly copy Mondelez products like Oreos, Chips Ahoy, and Wheat Thins. And they have a picture when you go side by side. Look pretty similar. Didn't get too creative in the packaging of the knockoffs. But that's, I don't know. So you're in Aldi, let's say, and you see that blue bag of those Chips Ahoy, and you pick it up thinking it's actually Chips Ahoy. But it's the Aldi version, which I'm not saying is bad. It's just as delicious. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of taking the name away, taking the stuff. You know what I mean? People think it's Chips Ahoy.
Well, what's the name of it?
You know what? That one is in Spanish. So look that one up, Kenzie. I couldn't figure that one out.
Wait, the Aldi Chips Ahoy is in Spanish?
Yeah. But the Wheat Thins are called Thin Wheats.
Well, that's English.
I got that one.
That one we know.
That one I got. That one I figured out. But the side-by-side is pretty interesting. So they're making a massive lawsuit. They say basically the packaging likely to deceive and confuse customers and threaten irreparable harm, Mondelez says, on their brands because people are mistaking it. Maybe they don't like the Aldi brand and they go, I don't like Chips Ahoy anymore, but really it's not Chips Ahoy because the packaging is so close.
I'll paint a picture for the people listening. The Chips Ahoy, and I prefer the chewy one in the red bag, but we'll go with the original flavor.
God, those are not good.
Okay, well, we'll go with the original flavor in the blue bag. It's a blue bag with blue text that says Chips Ahoy on it with a red exclamation mark and a basic chocolate chip cookie next to it. The Aldi version, which is Benton's brand, I now see an English packaging. I don't know how you got Spanish packaging. I now see an
I'm not
English
seeing
one.
this anywhere.
I only saw the Spanish version.
I've got an English packaging for you.
Okay.
But it's a blue bag with blue text that just says chocolate chip. And then in red, instead of the exclamation mark that would be next to the Chips Ahoy, it says cookies. And behind it is a chocolate chip cookie. If you were maybe a contact wearer who just didn't happen to have their contacts in or you weren't wearing your glasses, you would go, I'm picking up a bag of Chips Ahoy. That's why this lawsuit is taking place.
Got it. Thanks for the deep dive on that. I don't know why I'm only getting the Spanish version.
This chocolate. I found the chocolate chip cookie bag too, but I thought it wasn't it because Brian said it was in Spanish. So that can't be it.
I don't know why my algorithm wants Spanish. I don't know why.
But I don't. That's bullcrap. They don't own. Chips Ahoy doesn't own the word chocolate chip cookie.
Yet.
Bite it. And blue's a pretty popular color.
Well,
it's not like it's a chartreuse packaging. Relax.
But it's the same blue shade of Chips Ahoy.
I mean, Kenzie, they look similar. They're attempting to deceive, are they not?
I think they're attempting to give an affordable version.
John says, to be fair, they taste so similar at the fraction of a cost in Aldi. So he says the taste is exactly the same, so they copied the taste too, which is pretty awesome.
I don't know. I've done my rounds in the Aldi aisles. I've tried Fruit Rounds instead of Fruit Loops. I've tried Dr. Dazzle instead of Dr. Pepper. I've tried Red Thunder instead of Red Bull. They're not the same to me. Maybe that makes me a snob. Maybe that's a me problem. But I I can't get on board with crispy oat cereal. I would like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, your palate's just way too advanced.
That's what I've been saying.
You're a name brand guy.
I'm a name brand guy. Sue me. Don't sue me.
Actually.
Well, if you're a name brand guy, you have a lot of money, so you should sue you.
I don't have a lot of money. I should probably start going to Aldi.
You should
again.
probably go to Aldi. and 773 checked in with that point saying, if you're shopping at Aldi, you know it's off-brand. You know it's not going to be Chips Ahoy if you shop there regularly enough, or Oreos. It's going to be an off-brand.
Well, that's the thing with Aldi is everything you're buying is off-brand. So you're not walking into that store, like everything's off-brand.
Yeah, so they're probably going to make that argument in court when it goes there as like, we're Aldi. Duh. That might be what the lawyer says exactly.
Their package is never going to be sitting next to a pack of Oreos because they wouldn't carry that.
But that's changed a little bit because as a heavy soda drinker, Aldi used to carry Mountain Lightning, which was a Mountain Dew substitute. Now they've just got brand name Mountain Dew there.
How'd they get that?
Well, they discontinued Mountain Lightning, I believe, and then they're like, what if we just get Mountain Dew?
But is it cheaper there than other places at Aldi?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mountain. They didn't even try to hide that one. They took the word mountain in it and started with there. See, I'm torn on this one because I want people to spend less at the grocery store, and if you can get a knockoff, go for it. And people, listen, all these based here
this
too.
This has been around forever. Like, we used to always get diet, right, sodas.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this isn't like a new thing.
Like, all these based here too in Batavia. This could be like an Illinois war between Mondelez and Aldi. But I don't want Oreos to one day say, because of all the knockoffs, we have to stop making Oreos. We can't afford it anymore.
You think that Aldi would win this lawsuit and that Oreo would take the hit?
Not necessarily the lawsuit, but maybe it does do what they say and threatens the harm based on the deception and confusion of the customers, and people don't buy as many Oreos, so they go away.
Wow.
That'd be a tragic day in the history of this country.
What a chain reaction that would be.
So I'm really torn in this lawsuit. I want people to have cheaper food because it's ridiculous right now. And if you get the knockoffs at Aldi, it's great. But I also don't want the original name brands to go away. I'm torn.
They're not going to go away.
You don't think so?
No. Oreos is a very common. That's at most grocery stores. This is the one knockoff grocery store there is. Relax.
I'm concerned.
Brian, I want you to picture a world without Oreos. What does that look like? How does it change things?
Because I see abs in Brian's future.
It's a butterfly effect. It doesn't just end with Oreos.
So all of a sudden, my first thought was Portillo's chocolate cake is gone.
Oh, my God.
I don't know why.
Why would that be gone?
I have no idea. That was the leap that came into my head. If Oreos are gone, Portillo's cake is gone.
Well, the chocolate industry would take a hit.
Can you imagine if everything is bland?
Because there's only two flavors, chocolate and bland.
None of this is related. And, like, you guys are acting like, okay, wait a minute.
This is a big deal.
Oreos could go away.
It's really not.
Why aren't you excited?
It's really not.
Everybody's texting you, and Oreos aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because Oreos has the Halloween version, which I keep them afloat alone in October. Don't even worry about it.
People are texting in. You should have other things to worry about. Be concerned about that Oreos going away. Thank you, Dakota, for checking in on that.
That is such a Dakota text, by the way.
It starts with the Oreo, though. That's what people aren't realizing. I warn people about AI all the time. It's not AI I'm worried about. It's everything that comes after AI. Oreos are off the market. It changes everything.
We might have a wormhole to go into here because Chris texted in. I didn't know this, and I don't think it's true. He texted in from Woodridge. He says, "Isn't Oreo a knockoff?"
Of what?
I don't know, but I'm afraid to go down that wormhole.
Well, let me Google that.
Don't do it.
Why?
Isn't this what the Matrix is about?
Are we all living in the Matrix?
This is what the movie was about, right? Was how Oreos are a knockoff.
Thanks for checking in from Woodridge on that because you certainly took us somewhere.
Man.
Kenzie,
it said Nabisco, the company behind Oreo, blatantly ripped off, and then it goes, hold on.
We'll wait.
I didn't know it was going to be a read more situation.
No, this is important. We'll wait. We'll wait on this.
We were talking to Hydrox, Martin, remember, blah, 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 blah. They had, Hydrox was the original chocolate sandwich cookie.
Oh, no.
Ooh. So Nabisco has no rights. How dare you?
Well, it's Mondelez Industries now.
Well, yeah, because I'm saying, and then they bought it. This is this cookie's 3 times removed, like a cousin. Relax.
Oh, my God. I'm looking at the Hydrox cookie.
Yeah.
It's an Oreo.
It's an Oreo.
What the hell? It's been a lie. I mean, I'm not stopping Oreos.
Well, I don't know where
Well,
to find.
Hydrox looks like Swedish or something. Look at the font.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? That's another country, right?
The
That
font
font's-
is another country?
That's giving Switzerland or something, right?
Okay, let's see here if it was Switzerland or not.
That font is, they yodel. You know what I mean?
While I make sure it's from another country, give us a yodel, Kenzie.
Yodelay-hoo.
Wasn't bad.
Very good.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oreo was created, in 1912 as an imitation of Hydrox, which started in 1908.
Could you imagine the audacity of suing someone for copying your cookie that you copied?
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Kenzie's Crime is about 10 minutes away. A new deep dive into a murder mystery. And we might even have one going on here right now and investigating Mondelez Industries, the Chicago-based company that basically owns these brands, Chips Ahoy, Oreos, Wheat Thins. And they're suing Aldi for very similar packaging on their knockoff brands. A lot of controversy with this because people go to Aldi knowing it's a knockoff brand. That's why it's cheaper. But the packaging looks exactly like the packaging of Mondelez Industries cookie brands and cracker brands. And I just want everybody to get along. I don't want anything going away. The Aldi knockoffs, I don't want the originals going away. I say we just cease this lawsuit now, Mondelez Industries, please. Whoever, if anybody works there, hit us up. Or anybody works at Aldi and knows more about it can hit us up as well.
Please.
A lot of text coming through. Case, what do you got on the text line?
So we were talking about how Oreo is actually a ripoff of Hydrox, but I had never heard of Hydrox before. Martin checked in on the text line and said, imagine how good that cookie must be if it's better than Oreo, in the same way that Oreo cookies are better than Aldi cookies. So, Kenzie, where the hell can we get Hydrox cookies?
Okay, so I looked up because I was like, maybe they're out of business. I don't know, but they're not. So they said one of the most reliable options is Amazon. You can order in bulk on Amazon. They're at some grocery stores, but this is where they partnered with. They just partnered with Menards. You know how Menards has that huge snack and grocery section?
Which is so confusing, by the way. When you go to Menards to get a hammer, and then you see all this food, and you're like, I got to buy all that stuff now, too.
Yeah, you got to get all the food, too.
Look, I'm not a Menards guy. I don't need a lot of tools in my life. I had no idea they had snacks there.
No, they have
They have a huge grocery section. It's insane.
It's so good.
And they're kind of known. This is so Menards coded because they're always like they always have a deep cut snack. Okay, that's like their jam, things that you can't find anywhere else. So the fact that they signed a deal with Hydrox makes total sense. But then I looked up where this company's from because I'm surprised they signed with Menards, and it's also a Chicago company. So the Hydrox Corporation launched in Chicago in 1888, and originally they had ice cream and soft drinks.
Well, why is Chicago known for pizza and hot dogs and beefs and not Oreos? Because we invented Oreos, it sounds like, going back 150 years. We need to add this to the Mount Rushmore.
Should we talk to Brandon Johnson about this? I feel like we're not doing cookies right.
If he wants to save his mayorship,
This city.
he could do that, and probably people might vote him in for another year. I don't think so, but it might happen. I don't know. At least we get Oreos on the Mount Rushmore.
Thank God.
Also, a 630 checked in. This was Mark checking in. He said, are you guys out of your minds? Everything's a knockoff brand. I swore I would never get taken again when I got duped into buying a Panasonic transistor radio when I was a kid. Was not Panasonic, clearly.
You let go of that. You can move on.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Some Young Blood tickets coming up at the end of music and entertainment news. Well, listen, this story's pretty rough, and we have to pour one out for the King of the Hill actor Jonathan Joss, who was shot and killed by his neighbor. Now, big fans of King of the Hill like us here on the show, and we get your comedic sense, and we've played so much audio from King of the Hill over the years on the show, and so many different characters. And in a way, John Redcorn, who he played, was more of a visual character. Obviously, he had a lot of great dialogue, but the visual stuff in that show of him sleeping with Dale's wife or massaging her, and then Dale never understanding what was going on in the show. He thought John Redcorn was his best friend. In the meantime, he was sleeping with his wife.
It sounds evil when you put it like that, but we promise it was really funny.
And he would always pull up, and he'd be playing like Foreigner Hot Blooded in his Jeep. This really hit me yesterday. A very sad story, and we have to get to these details that are not good, not at all in any way, because it just wasn't, some kind of passing. It turns out it probably was a hate crime in the description from his husband.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was gay, and Pride Month here, I think it's important to talk about some of these things of what's going on out there, and this just happened to be someone that we all know. A lot of times it's people that we don't know. But the story goes like this from his husband, Tristan. So Josh said this past January, his childhood home burned down. Jonathan's childhood home burned down. And then one of his dogs died in the fire. For years before that, they had apparently dealt with homophobic neighbors who had threatened to burn down the house. Now, that wasn't proven by law enforcement what happened, but this is what their perception of what happened is.
Okay.
On Sunday, Jonathan and Tristan went to the site to check their mail and found the skull of one of their dogs and its harness placed in clear view. Again, it's not proven that the home was burned down intentionally, but it's starting to look shady.
Okay.
When they saw that, they were distraught and started yelling and crying. When that happened, a man approached them and started yelling gay slurs at them, which apparently was this neighbor they had fights with. He raised a gun, pointed at him, and opened fire.
What?
Yeah, this is how it went down. Again, I'm sorry these details are rough, but I think it's important we talk about it. Then Tristan says Jonathan pushed him out of the way and saved his life.
Oh, my gosh.
And Jonathan was struck several times and died on the scene. Really terrible, terrible story.
How sick do you have to be to think you're honestly a better person than somebody? And that even if you disagree with it, even if you're like, I don't think you should do that, that you have the right to hurt someone or take their life or do anything. How does that make you an okay person? Like, what is wrong with people?
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible. Again, it's Pride Month. We should be really thinking about this stuff. And the suspect right away was booked on a murder charge. So he was caught, and he's on jail, thankfully, and booked on murder, and probably will be first-degree murder. And maybe they'll find out more about what his husband, Tristan, thought about what happened, that his childhood home was burned down, maybe by this guy. That's all alleged right now.
Yeah, now that this has come out, set in stone, they can probably really look into and dig into the other things.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a long, drawn-out case. But again, this hits just us as King of the Hill fans, and John Redcorn, the character that he voiced, was so funny on the show. And we have some audio, and just a reminder, John Redcorn was sleeping with Dale's wife, and Dale never figured it out. He thought he was his best friend on the show.
Well, and then their son was Native American,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that was like the fun, because they're both white, and he never...
I mean, obviously, King of the Hill is Dale as redneck as he could be.
I guess we did gloss over that, Kenzie. In case anybody couldn't figure it out, they do have a Native American.
Yeah.
Their son is Native American, and he never...
So
he's the spitting image of him.
There's so many great montage scenes of John Redcorn going to massage his wife, and then Dale going like, all right, have a good time over there. I'll see you Saturday night. And this is one of my favorites when, after the neighbor gets jealous of Dale's new state-of-the-art lawnmower, he sets up a BB gun security system to ensure that no one steals it. And the security system is triggered by John Redcorn, who isn't looking to steal the mower, but is looking at as a lift to sneak into Dale's wife's bedroom to sleep with her. And this is that audio.
How do I know it's Jack Ruby's hat?
He's on the phone.
Well, if I'm gonna spend money on it, I gotta know it's Jack Ruby's hat. All right. What colors does it come in? Next time it might not be a BB. I know what you're here for.
Dale, this isn't how I wanted you to find out.
Quit screwing around with my mower.
You've got to be kidding.
I don't kid about my mower. Now get inside and start massaging my wife.
He's taking some of the fun out of this.
He's ready to explain that he's cheating with on his wife, and he's like, I can't believe this guy can't figure out that I'm sleeping with his wife. Oh, God, it was so good. And then, also in the show, Bill falls in love after he has a blind date with Charlene, the hot single mother. However, Dale's intuition tells him something's not quite right with Charlene's daughter, Kate. And after secretly performing a DNA test, he discovers that Kate is related to his son, Joseph, which of course means they're both John Redcorn's children. And this is when they team up on that. Another great piece of audio from King of the Hill.
John Redcorn? Is that you?
Dale, you must be wondering why I'm hiding behind this bush.
No, I just figured there was a cool Indian reason. Is there a cool Indian reason?
Yes, but I also wanted to see Joseph's sister and her mother.
That's Charlene.
Candy?
Sorry, I don't have any. The mothers of my children are pretty hot. The aliens seem partial to pouty lips and an ample bosom.
Yes, they do.
Well, I'm leaving. Couldn't even turn a woman off Bill. How's that for sad? I wish I had a debonair ladies' man to seduce her. Too bad Boomhauer finds motherhood disgusting. Well, see you later, John. Redcorn! Of course!
I'm sorry?
John Redcorn, I bet you could romance a woman out of a relationship with a giant doofus.
Dale, are you asking me to steal your friend's companion?
I don't want my child raised by an idiot.
Yes, it's very difficult to watch an idiot raise your child.
Then join me, and together we can strike down this perverse and unholy union. There's some sex in it for you.
Of course, not realizing that John Redcorn is doing exactly that, a doofus raising his child and having to watch it when Dale raises him. Man, this is really sad. Pouring one out, obviously, for Jonathan Joss, who played John Redcorn on King of the Hill, and on Parks and Recreation. We don't have time to get more audio of that, but Case loved that show. I wanted to play some Parks and Rec audio of him as well. And this all comes in a weird veil of King of the Hill returning after 15 years.
It's coming back?
It's coming back. The 14th season is a revival, not a reboot, and it will premiere on Hulu August 4th. 15 years gone. The revival will be a 10-episode season that will continue the story from the original show, which ended in 2010. The show will reflect the passage of time, so Bobby Hill is now in his 20s and living in Dallas, and the Hill family returns to Arlen, Texas from working in Saudi Arabia. Where Hank Hill got a big oil deal? Is that what it is? At the end?
Can we rent out a movie theater to binge the new King of the Hill season?
Could be an idea.
Feels like the only appropriate thing to do.
As long as they drop it all at once, we watch all 10 at the same time.
Deal.
We do that. So again, pouring one out for Jonathan Joss. Very sad story. And John Redcorn. Let's get to something a little more positive here. But the memory of it is very positive. That brings back all that joy. But we have a show for Youngblood at the Riv. 312-591-8300. Caller 10 gets those tickets for Youngblood. Furnished by our great friends Jam Productions. They're on sale now, but you got them free from Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.